Hello and welcome back to the Macca's Talk Hockey Podcast, the podcast where me and my brother Charlie and our good friend Dan talk about English ice hockey, specifically the NIHL. Happy New Year. It is, well, as we're recording, the new year is tomorrow, or 2 days' time. But Happy New Year, another year of the podcast. Coming up to 3 years now. This is our third season, which is just mental. But we're still going, even though a lot has changed from when we first started recording it. Obviously, Dan, you weren't even in it. We had you
No.
as a guest, and then you become a full-time member. And yeah, Charlie, you're still going. Fair enough. I thought you would have quit by now, but he's still going. And Dad likes to pop on now and again as well. And we've had so many players. I think when we last counted, we had over 80 players, different players come on. And that's gone up since we did that calculation. So, yeah, we'll have to do an official count at some point. But yeah, we are going to do a slightly different episode, a bit more of a fun one. Obviously, we'll start with the little bit of news. There's a big signing, obviously, which me and Charlie were very happy with. We'll go on to briefly looking at the results across the new year. But we want to do a fun one where we pick out a player who's impressed us. It doesn't have, it can be an obvious one, who's exceeded even more expectations, or a new signing or anything. Just a player who's impressed us from when we've watched them, from each team. So all the fans watching, can hear what we think about some of their players when we've watched them, because we've watched pretty much every team now. Yeah. Right, let's crack into it. Dan, Charlie, you doing all right? We have got to rush through this one because I've got to go and watch the football soon, but we don't want it to be too long of an episode. We'll get back on track for 26. But yeah. The first news was then Ryan Wells on Christmas Day announced extending until next season as well. Charlie, we didn't think we'd be able to keep him this season. He's ended up staying for next season. It just shows how much he loves it here in Swindon.
Yeah, we've got a good track record of keeping top imports. We've got a really good track record, and we've just kept the best player in the league for another year, which
Yeah.
I think is a massive positive. Wales has changed the club in many ways since he joined. We went from probably having a weaker decor to being one of the strongest to this year definitely being the strongest decor. And Wales is the most important piece in that decor. And this year he's gone, Ben O'Connor signed. I need to up my offense. And he's gone and done that. And so he puts the team on his back, and having him back another year is only going to mean we compete for trophies next year. And I can say that almost guaranteed when we've signed one player, because Ryan Wells is a guy who's going to want to win trophies wherever he is.
Yeah, me and you obviously a bit biased, but we think he is the best player in the league. I definitely think he's the best defenseman in the league. And Dan, you had the privilege of watching him the whole last season. He has got even better this season as well, obviously knowing the league. But from an opposition point of view, that's not what other teams will want to hear, is it?
No, not really. I was hoping he would move on this year, but he obviously didn't. And then obviously next year I was hoping again, but I guess he's not going to do that either. Yeah, it's never nice to go up against Swindon when you know you've got Ryan Wells to try and get past. But fair play to him for coming into the league and fully just taking it over, really.
Yeah, and he's obviously got his reasons for staying, but I know he just loves it in Swindon. We've all said he probably could play in higher leagues, but I think he just enjoys it, and sometimes that's what players from abroad, Canada, America, all over Europe like doing. They like coming over to England and having a good time as well. Luke Ferrara, this was so casual. Charlie was like in the evening on Christmas, he's like, Jack, did you realise Luke Ferrara just signed a 3 year extension? But it will take him to 35 years old. But he's proven this. He's a top point scorer in the league, and we'll probably talk about it when we get on to Peterborough. But another 3 years of Ferrara, which is only good for Peterborough. And yeah, I just love Luke Ferrara. I think you can't. I don't think anyone can really hate on him. I think he's just one of them Brits who gets it done. Clutch player, arguably the best Brit in the league.
I think
I
it's
know.
arguably at the moment.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
is.
think it's arguably at the moment.
Yeah,
I don't
this
think there
season he
is a
has
player
been.
this year on the level of Luke Ferrara. He is the top point scorer in a league where every single team has four imports. He is the top guy. He's put Peterborough on his back, and I have no doubts that he'll still be the top or one of the top Brits in the league when he's 35 on his third year of that contract because
Yeah.
he just knows what to do.
Yeah, he's just so good at hockey. So he signed for another 3 years. And then Hull announced a double trouble Hair Brothers re-signing for next season as well. And I have to say, Dan, I think especially with Ethan coming over to Hull, he's been given so much more opportunity than Leeds, and he knew his role at Leeds. I think he was their fourth, third line grinder, wasn't he? But he's actually been given a bit more of a point scoring role this season. And he's nearly got as much points as he's ever got in a season for Leeds, hasn't he? So he's definitely taken that step, new chapter with Hull after winning it all with Leeds, and yeah, I think he's doing quite well this season. So it'll be good for Hull to get him back as well for
Yeah,
next season.
yeah. I mean, when the signing happened, I thought he would fit in well to that whole system. Obviously, they're a
Yeah.
very like heavy forechecking team. He's a guy that's just going to keep skating and skating, just finish his checks and go into the corner battles. And yeah, I think going into Hull, I think he had that in Leeds, but I don't think he needed to show it off just as much. But in Hull, obviously, his game is literally the Hulls game, so
Yeah.
it fits perfectly with them. And obviously, his brother coming over as well probably made it easy for him to come into the team. He probably knows a few of them lads from obviously playing up north his whole life.
Yeah.
So it's probably an easy transition for him, and yeah, it's just perfect for him to show off what he can really do.
Yeah, that was the signings. I'm sure there'll be some more re-signings as 2026 goes on because it's kind of the trend and the theme now for teams to snap up their players long term quickly or ready for next season. Briefly then, we'll go over the scores from last week because there's been a lot of games around this Christmas period and it started on that Friday with the whole Seahawks and the Leeds Knights. I did watch it a little bit on the stream, but tough one for Hull, and they are in again just that inconsistency. They can't get anything going over a few games, and they got a win the week before, and then they're back down to earth, and it's just yeah, they beat Sheffield 3-1 on home ice. Sheffield, who've been on such a good run, and then they lose 6-1 to Leeds. And I have to say, uh, for two players who, point scoring wise, they haven't hit the levels which I'm sure a lot of Leeds fans might have expected. Liam Payton and Mikovic just thought, right, you know what? It's the new coming up to New Year. We're going to take over this game. They got 2 goals, 2 assists each. And they probably needed that because they've struggled a bit point scoring wise since they've come in. I'm not saying I think they've impacted game other ways, but this league is very reliant on scoring. And that game they turned up massively. But Charlie, whole wise, it's just tough in it. They can't get anything going. I don't think all the players are able to buy into this system. There's clearly something not right with the team. It works sometimes, but other times it's not. And I'd say last season, even though they had these crazy games where they were quite all out offense, some games you didn't really see a game plan particularly. If anything, those players are more suited to that. And I think the perfect example is Owen Sobchak because it's just not quite clicking for him this season.
Yeah, I don't think they're as high up on my list anymore without like being rude or anything. They can't find that form of consistency. And as you've said, they can beat the top teams, but they lost to Bristol 3 times this year, and Bristol have been better, but they just they just can't find that form. And I think we're getting to the point of the season now where this is probably where you're gonna level out. And so maybe Hull can push it up, but they need to find that. And I think part of that for me, and I've always said this and I've always stood on this, having 5 imports I don't think helps them because each week a different import's getting scratched. And well,
It's like the MK thing.
on their thing it says injury precaution, but it seems to be a different guy who's got an injury precaution. So I think each week an import's most likely getting scratched, and I just think it messes with rhythm. I do think one thing Hull massively benefited off last year was the fact they played Sobchak, Svek, and Chamberlain together the whole year, and this year I haven't seen a line stick for longer than like 3 4 weeks. But for Hull, I think it is just building into playoffs, and there's less pressure on them. I think the most important thing for Hull is winning home games. And you can't lose 6-1 at home. If they can build some consistency at home, you can build on the fan bases. And then when playoffs comes around, you can win your 3 home games, and then you've just got to win 1 away.
Yeah, but as you said, I think teams are starting to go. We can beat Hull this season, and offensively, haven't quite been going at the levels of what they did last season. But it just shows the National League. Like Leeds the next day, they lose 6-4 to Sheffield, and a Sheffield team without Bjorkley Nordstrom, a Sheffield team which had to scratch Larenmar because they played Brady Parker. But they get the job done. And you're looking at Danico, Dan, who got the opening goal for Steel
That was a
Dogs.
sick goal as well.
Yeah, it's a snipe in the top right corner, and like Bear Gendonov is on an absolute heater right now, and he's just scoring for fun, getting points for fun, and showing what the expectations which we had on him. But yeah, Sheffield are just getting it done, aren't they? And they're continuing to just stick behind Swindon and let them know that they're there. Dan, sorry.
So good. Yeah, I mean, I think one reason for that is bringing in Brady Parker, the goalie.
Yeah,
I
fair.
think he's been a massive addition to that team. He's not played every game. They've been sort of bringing in Warburton and stuff like that. It all depends
He
on what
plays
players they've
what
got
I'd call
available.
the bigger games, I
Yeah.
think.
But I think that's perfect for a guy like Parker because you're going to be getting a fully fit Brady Parker into every single big game.
Yeah.
And I think it's smart from Slava as well because he's using the players that he's got. He's not just signed an import goalie, going all out import goalie every game. If he goes into a game thinking that maybe he would benefit more from a forward maybe playing or maybe I don't know bringing in another guy. It all depends on the game, and I think Slava's been really smart with the
Yes.
players that he's got, and I think that's really helped him when Brady has been playing or when he's not been playing. I think the team's fully fresh, and I think every player just seems to be on the same wavelength right now.
Yeah, I do think though they're in a weird situation where they have the 5 imports. And me and Charlie were saying like the thing is, you want some offensive guys sometimes, especially with Nordstrom being out. You then have to scratch Parker, so you get that extra import forward, which is what they did on the Sunday, and they ended up scoring 8 goals. So they may have conceded 5 to Solway on the Sunday, but because you have that extra import in with Larimar, they get that more offensive team. So Slava's playing it well so far. Out of the 3 teams who've got the 5 imports, he's definitely played it the best so far.
It makes
And
more sense though. That's the one
yeah,
I would
his
say.
does.
Yeah, his actually has a
He's got
meaning
the
behind
import
it.
netty and he is actually rotating it, which is we may have criticised it, but he is actually rotating it. But then I think he knows before even Slava's not an idiot. Like he knows before he signed the goalie that it would mean scratching one of your forwards, so he pick and chooses the right games. So and you look at Brady Parker's numbers, Dan, like you said, when you're against the top teams, if you've got Brady Parker in net, you know that you're going to be only conceding 3, 4, maximum 4 goals a game. I don't think he's conceded over 4 goals this season. So I think they've done a good job so far. We'll go on to the next one though because we want to get through these so we can talk about our players. Basingstoke's doubleheader with Romford. We'll talk about it as a doubleheader. And 2 points split between the two. And I think that's probably the fair outcome. Both teams bit better on their home ice. I know the Sunday was a bit more chaotic with penalties and stuff, and someone might get a ban after Sunday. But yeah, on the Saturday, Dan. By the way, before you even get into it, you might mention him anyway. Ben Clark Leach coming in for Max Wright 18 years old and or 19 years old, coming in to start with Max Wright. He won 3 on the bounce after that win against Romford, Dan. He's done phenomenal in there, and it obviously the D has to help him out as well. Great to get Shankar back. I know you were pumping his tyres his first game back against Romford, and it really showed. But yeah, Ben's doing a great job, isn't he, filling in for Wright and showing that he can do a job in the National League, and he's still got so much left. Obviously, he's only 19, but he's going to be a talent, isn't he, coming in the future?
Yeah, I think since that first game that he played for us, he's definitely sort of got a lot more confident, and the team have got a lot more confident in front of him. I think when a goalie like that comes in, obviously a young goalie, they sort of have their own way, and the team have their own way of playing as well. But now he's sort of played a few games, but like for us, he's sort of the team have played in a way that they need to play in front of him, and I think he's obviously gained confidence since getting that first win. And
Yeah,
I think when as a goalie, when you're on a roll, you are just going to keep going. And yeah, he's made some massive, massive saves for us
yeah.
over the past few games. Fingers crossed, Max is back soon. Obviously, no offense to Ben Leach, but I do want the import goalie back. Um,
You
but
are an
yeah,
import down technically, aren't you?
yeah, so you can't, but yeah, you can't fault what Ben Leach has done coming into Basingstoke, and yeah, I think he has turned a few heads after having this little stint with Basingstoke. Because I think a lot of obviously, a lot of fans knew about him playing for Swindon, playing in those games at sort of the end of the season, but these games for Basingstoke now have been big games. Obviously,
Yeah.
we played Telford, we played Romford double header. We've had some big games come up, and he's had to come up in big moments for us. So yeah, fair play to Ben Leach.
Yeah. And you won the Saturday one, lost the Sunday one. I'll quickly touch on that one. 4-2 in the end. Two late goals. Well, a late one on that 5 minute penalty. And I think in a couple games, penalties have cost you this season. And that was probably one of them games, was it?
Well, I think penalties cost us, but at the same time, the power play cost us as well.
Yeah.
We had so many chances in the first period. We could have put the game to bed if our power
It
play was on
sounded
it.
like the game was just penalty after penalty after penalty.
Yeah, the refs didn't really, it was a bit chippy. It didn't really get let flow a lot. It was sort of stop and start, stop, start. But if your power play's on it in that first period, the game's ours. We could take the 3-0 lead, 4-0 potentially, go into the second period with a lead, and you're sort of carrying that through. Obviously, we had the 5 minute power play as well, which we scored our only power play goal on. So we did that as well. And then, yeah, obviously giving up that 5 minute penalty in the last 5 minutes of the game. I think we had 25 seconds of 5-on-5 and we were one goal down. So it's
Yeah.
sort of after that penalty happened, it sort of put the game to bed for us. And Romford were just sort of playing their game where they just go for all out offense and setting up in the zone. But they
Yeah.
really know how to play in their rink. So they
Yeah.
played the perfect style for them, just dumping the puck in, chasing it in, going into the corners. Obviously, they can do that in their rink, whereas I think in Basingstoke, we sort of used it to our advantage and we used the big ice to our advantage
Yeah.
and took them that way.
Big zones in Basingstoke as well. But yeah, split the weekend. Not bad weekend for either team, really. And it just makes the playoff battle even better. Come the end of the season. Um, Wildcats then, Charlie. I said going into this is against Bristol Pitbulls. Take out the weekend before, which they had against the Bison, where they didn't get points. They needed a reaction, and it's always a tough one against Swindon. And they've been close so far this season. And that Saturday was Tommy Napier's best game. It was one of Bristol's best games they've played in the National League. And they get a 1-0 shutout win. Someone will have to fact check, but that might be their first ever shutout in the National League against Swindon. And from their point of view, you got to look at it and say, fair enough. Swindon not quite clinical enough. It has to be said, but don't take any credit away from Tommy Napier. 46 saves in the end. But Charlie, we said that could be a big point. It's not the end of the world. Teams have lost in Bristol. They have got better at home. But we said going into the Sunday game that we would need to win that Sunday.
Yeah, I think Swindon had a bit of a poor weekend. Um, we we created chances 5-on-5, and Tommy Napier stood on his head, and the Bristol team put their bodies on the line and played a structured game. Um, Defensively, I can't critique Swindon. We conceded 3 goals in 5-on-5 this weekend, and 2 of them were off shins. So, like, defensively, we were amazing as always. Offensively, I think we created enough chances to win both games. We just weren't very clinical. It was a mix of not being clinical and Tommy Napier being phenomenal on that Saturday. And if Tommy Napier can play like that more consistently, Bristol will make playoffs. But we haven't seen that consistency from him kind of know that that's going to be the case. And then a couple other players I thought were really good. I thought Josh Batch stood on his head from what a D man can do. Just a physical beast. And he logs like 30, 35 minutes a night. Um, Arguably, he's their best defensive defenseman by a distance, even above Butler. And then their second line, although their second line didn't score, Wingfield, Smetham, and Harewood were really good two-way wise.
Yeah.
I really like that line. And then for Swindon, yeah, we bounced back on the Sunday and we only dropped 1 point this weekend. And if you can turn bad games into a point, I'm not going to be too annoyed.
Yeah. The Sunday, it, the power play was frustrating up to the second period. And the second period, we got two power play opportunities and we drew those penalties from dominating and making them work. And you could tell Bristol a bit tired from the Saturday. And then we get the power play goals. Ben O'Connor gets his shot from the blue line, which sneaks in. It wasn't one of those slap shots. It wasn't really powerful, just floated in, got the goal. And then a really nice power play goal from Watkins over to Nell, and he scored that one. And yeah, we got the win. Watkins got those big goals. He's come up with big goals. And yeah, 3 out of 4 points. It's not too bad. But credit Bristol. You've seen the improvement from previous seasons, and they've got a chance for playoffs this year. And also, one last thing, John Dunbar. He loves an overtime winner, by the way. What a
Well,
gross goal as well. Taking it round through the legs and then sniping it top corner. Just great skill from him. Brushing over the Sheffield game. I know we mentioned it earlier. 8-5 against Solway. Solway not managing to get any points this weekend. And it's your typical guys on the score sheet. Genjanov, Sommer, Watson, who's been chipping in with some big goals. And Oksanen, he got his first. Ben Morgan got his first this season. So but yeah, just Solway, they score goals and Jansis is scoring at a ridiculous rate, but they can't seem to keep the puck out of the net. And it's been the same old kind of story this season. They've struggled to shut games down. But Sheffield offensively clicking a lot. And then MK Peterborough. On the Saturday sounded like a great game. And the Lightning come out with a 4-3 win. Elliot Lewis with two big goals. He's definitely stepped it up since going to the Lightning, and they scored three power play goals to the Lightning. Their power play's been a lot better this season, and that's because of Dom Gabai. Dom Gabai is when you sign him from the Bees, he scored so many power play goals with Balaz last season, didn't he, Dan? And he's definitely brought that to MK this season. And also, they have got their 4 imports, which they've kept now for the last 3 weeks, I think. Karenchuk hasn't played a game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe move on from him. So it looks like they've got their 4 imports secured now. Luke Ferrara scored twice, but it couldn't quite get it over the line. But the Sunday, an absolute gong show of goals. Just a crazy game. And the Lightning ended up getting a 6-5 lead. 6-5 lead with just over 10 minutes to go. And then come up. Charlie, I'll come back to you in a second because I know you watched the highlights. But Cam Huff scores a hat trick. Well, he scored 5 goals in the game, but a 3-minute hat trick included an empty netter in the last 3 minutes to win it for Peterborough, assisted by Ferraro and Lackinen on all 3 of those final goals. I think that just sums up their whole season of how it's been. I'm not going to forget Dylan Lawrence because he's had to pull his weight on that second line, running that second line, which isn't as strong as their top line, and he's still scoring points at a good rate. But Charlie, what a crazy game of hockey that is. And if you're MK, that just sums up their away performances this season. They're just thrown it away again.
Oh, both penalty kills. You sometimes question what was going on. Peterborough have got one of the best power plays in the league, but the worst penalty kill is 67%, which means they let in 1 in 3 power plays. Yeah, it was quite something just from the highlights. The highlights are 18 minutes. Um, and yeah, you like Peterborough go 5-3 up, and you're thinking, all right, that's Peterborough going to wrap this game up. Peterborough had, I don't know how many one-on-ones got given away. It was ridiculous for both teams. And then MK just fight back and make it 6-5 with a fluky goal from Forsberg. And you can tell, and he cupped his ears, I believe, to the Peterborough fans.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, this absolutely naughty drop pass from Lackinen to Hoof, and Hoof just snipes it posting in. And then that's 6-6. And then typical MK away, I've got to say it. Hoof just snipes another one. And then the empty net, and commentator is just losing it. Like, I love being a commentator.
Got a shout out Phil, by the way.
He sounded like he was having a heart attack after that seventh goal. And everyone's going mental. Hoof's just aura farming, literally. Fourth goal. And then Hoof scores the empty net. Commentators, he's running limbs. And Hoof's going mental. And yeah, MK, I saw Spatterthorpe arguing with the bench. Just frustrating. Like, 8 goals with 2 import D. One of them's an empty net, so I'll give him some slack. 7. But you can't do that. You can't. But that is what flipping derby's for.
Oh my days.
Both games
Imagine
were
going to that
absolutely
game
dreadful.
as a Peterborough fan. Oh,
Oh, Archie Salisbury took nearly 4 players' heads off. He was trying to fight
it's
everyone.
just your typical derby, isn't it?
Oh, mate, I don't think there's many good derbies in this league. I'll be honest.
No, that's
But MK Peterborough is makes up for it every time. Mate, all we need next time is centre ice scraps because oh my days, it's phenomenal.
Especially in Peterborough because the ice is much smaller and they're forced to hit each other.
But the worst bit in Peterborough is the MK fans will be so loud, and then the Phantoms fans will just give it back, and so it just turns into a toxic mess. And the players just buy into it. And then, yeah, just Yanni Lackinen is the greatest 43-year-old I've ever seen in this league.
Yeah.
Like, he is unbelievable. But yeah,
yeah,
what a game.
crazy game. I haven't watched a highlight show. I'm looking forward to
I
watching.
would have quite
I
liked
need
it
to, I need to watch. Yeah.
I would have loved the dream of that game would have been MK managed to get back from 8-6.
The 8-8 overtime.
The commentator's done
9-8
limbs
OT.
for the empty net, and then I don't know, Yanni Lackinen scores the OT winner. That would have been...
But yeah, touching on MK's away, they've been really good at home. I think this season they've only dropped to. I think they got the same amount of home wins as Swindon, but away from home, played 14, won 2. One of them being a regulation, one overtime. It's just they cannot win away, and I think mentally as well, it's a mental game. They can't get over the hump. And then finally, we'll get into the players in a sec, but shout out to the Telford Tigers, 4-point weekend. Went so under the radar their 4-point weekend, by the way, because there were so many other games and double headers going on. But shout out for the Telford Tigers. They were a bit above the playoff spot, and they've gone all the way up to 5th because of those 4 points. So it just shows what a weekend can do. Right, let's get into the points. Points, players.
Yeah.
And Charlie, I think you said we'll go in league order. Do you want to go from the top or the bottom? Bottom. So at the bottom is the Solway Sharks. They've struggled this season. Obviously, they didn't have their home rink to start the first, I think, 4 weeks. Right, we're going to pick a player each. Not much explanation at all. Just a player and a sentence on why they've impressed you the most this season of 2025. So we'll start with Charlie.
Carter Hamill broke into Belfast as well.
Oh, yeah. Shout out Carl Hamill. Got his first goal for Belfast this weekend against Fife. Dan.
Yanstis, about 10 goals a game.
Yep. I'm also going to go with Yanstis. Quickly touching on his stats. He's come in 12 games, 14 goals. In his last 5 games, he's scored a goal in every game. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 10 goals in his last 5 games. He is carrying the team on his back. I'd probably say he's carrying more than Gardiner as well. And he hasn't got a Dunbar with him. And him and Stewart, I think, play on separate lines. So, yeah, Yanssis has definitely lived up to the hype. Basingstoke, we'll come to you last, Dan. Charlie, we'll go to you first.
Adam Harding better than I thought he'd be this year. He's stepped up as their top Brit.
Nice one. He's chipped in with a lot of goals. I'm going to go with someone else who's chipped in with a lot of goals. Tom Ralph. Wow.
Oh,
What a season he is having. 6 goals from defence. His first one last season come in a playoff game against Swindon. And he's already got 6 this season. What a player he's been this season. Dan, on to you. Obviously, you have been watching. You watch every game this season.
yeah, I've watched a few games. Hardin, very reliable centre.
Nice one. And that's why he's on top line now, isn't he?
No.
No, okay, I've got that wrong completely. Right, on to Bristol. Charlie or me?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Callum McGill
Oh,
having his best National League season.
He's a rat.
I'm that you stole mine, all right? I'm gonna go with him as well. Callum McGill, OT winner as well against MK. That is aura. And he actually has been really good, and he's played that role next to Tanner Butler. So yeah, fair play to him. Dan?
Maximilian Wigfield, best name in the National League, and he's been a lot better than I thought he would be.
Yeah, no, he actually has. I think he's a good two-way center as well. He fits well on that second line two-way. Yeah, Maximilian. Right, on to the first playoff team, currently sat in 8th, is the Romford Raiders. Charlie?
Aidan Hill, he's scored a flipping load of points this year for
Who's Aidan Hill?
Aidan Ewan Hill.
New guy.
Hey, Aidan Hill plays for Vegas, didn't he?
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah.
Good goalie.
Didn't think they had him. Dan, who are you going for?
CC, game saver.
Yeah, he has been a big part of them. TJ Anderson, I'm stealing Charlie's. He is probably one of, if not the best young forwards in the league. He still counts as young. 37 points in 28 games. Yeah, great player. Seahawks, Charlie, you start us off with the whole Seahawks.
New reader.
Nice.
16 and has got points.
Yeah, broke into the National League. I like that, Dan.
Bobby Chamberlain, proper captain.
Yeah, I like that. 22 goals, by the way, as a Brit. In 25 games, he's missed games this season.
I love that one because some people would have gone, yeah, and some people would have gone, ah.
I'm gonna go Noah. Can never say his name. Noah Karainen. I just really like watching him. I think he's very talented defenseman. On to the MK Lightning. Who are you going for, Charlie?
Goodbye. I didn't think he'd get as many points as he's got.
Yeah, he's hit that 50 mark this season. To be fair,
And he's massively above second in his team. I didn't think he'd carry.
Yeah, he is. He's 20 more points ahead of Jordan County this season. So
County's missed some games, but yeah, he's carrying more than I thought he could do because he's getting older. And he used to play with Slough's rink, and now he's on the biggest rink in the league.
Yeah, no, that's a good one, Dan.
Elliot Lewis had a big point to prove, and he loves the big games with a big crowd.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to go with Liam Stewart. 2 points a game pace. I'm joking.
I was tempted to go for Stewart.
No, I'm not good. I'm going to go with Elliot Lewis as well. I know he wanted to come in and get a bigger role for MK, and he's showing it so far this season. So Elliot Lewis, and he come on the pod as well. So big up. Telford Tigers currently sat in 5th place. Charlie.
Deacon Fielder, by far having his best year this year.
Yeah, he's had to step up as well. And I think he's improved a lot on his game. I agree with that. Dan?
Brindley Caps, unreal signing for him and unreal signing for Telford.
Nice one. I'm going to go Caleb McPhee. We thought he'd come in as that defensive defenseman. He's done that. And I know he's missed some games because he might have got a very nasty injury, but offensively as well, he has been key for the Tigers. 7 goals, 18 assists in 20 games, over a point per game. Caleb McPhee's been really good.
And he's got the best front set of teeth in the league.
Yeah, no teeth. Right, Peter Rafantos, Charlie.
He has the most aura in the league. Yanni Lackinen.
Mate, 44 assists this season.
More assists than his age.
Oh, Dan?
Cam Huff, it's scary that he's just more offensive this year.
He's got right 34 goals in 29 games.
Yeah, and the most
Tate's
nuts,
just been like, "Don't you worry about that two-way game, mate. You just scored a goal."
yeah, and the
Tate,
most nuts thing about it, yeah, is he's got 8 more than the next closest. 8 more. Like if he continues this pace, he will have 16 more goals than the next closest to him. At the end
and
of the
he'll
year.
have over 60 goals this season.
He's gross. That man used to play D.
Oh my days. I'm gonna go with Morgan Clark Pizzo. 12 points this season, playing much better hockey than he did in Sheffield, and been given more opportunity. So yeah, I think Pizzo's having a good year. The Leeds Knights. Charlie, who are you going with?
Ollie Endicott. He's their second top point scorer, and yeah, he's put the team on his shoulders for quite a few games this year.
Yeah, Dan.
Another guy that's put the team on his shoulders, Sam Gospel. Unreal.
He's been a joke.
And I don't like him.
I
What?
don't
Why?
like
Go on, do
him.
tell.
Well, he saved pucks
Yeah,
I don't
against
like him.
Basingstoke, but
yeah.
we did
He
get the
shut you
OT
out.
winner. We did get the OT winner. So
Yeah, no.
yeah,
Want a
just if
piece
he
at the
if he
moment.
does the same again this Sunday, thank you.
Um, Innes Gallagher for me, 13 goals. He's stepped up massively. All the Brits have, like Ollie Endicott's having a crazy season, but 13 goals for Innes. Yeah, really good season for him so far. Sheffield Steel Dogs, Charlie.
Kyle Watson.
Oh,
He's been really good,
yeah,
and he's been a very good top 6 forward, and that was what he needed to be.
nice one. Dan.
Uh, Ben Genjanov. He wasn't very good with the fishbowl, but now he loves the fishbowl and he looks unreal doing it.
Yeah, he's been a joke this season. I'm also gonna steal yours, Charlie, and go Carl Watson. Um, yeah, he's definitely lived up to the hype. And he's got over a point per game as well. So, yeah. And then finally, the Swindon Wildcats. Ooh, Charlie, who are you gonna go for?
Jamie Smith. He's carrying Ben O'Connor.
Oh yeah,
Now, on a real though, he is one of the most solid young defensemen you can get. He does his job so well. One of the things which maybe 2 years ago when he broke into the league he wasn't as strong at was breakout passes. He's so confident on the park. He's a beast. Yeah, he's just really, really good, and he's logging minutes this year.
mm,
And yeah, he'd get into any team's defense comfortably and make it better.
damn.
Owen Griffiths. He's not scored as many points as I thought he would, but he's been a very reliable forward.
Yeah, I think he's been massive on playing that defensive hockey, which Aaron wants to play. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Ed Bradley. Actually, he scored some really big goals this season. The 6 goals he scored have been in really big games. And he's also got some big assists. He scored against Bristol to get us going on Sunday. He scored against Hull at the start of the season, I remember, against Sheffield as well. And he also got that assist to start the game against Leeds away. Really nice assist to Logan. So, yeah, I think I don't want to just go with the obvious ones, but yeah, I think Ed Bradley's having a
More.
good season considering he's our kind of I'd say fourth string defenseman this season. So yeah, right. That's our
One
players.
honourable mention because I don't want to miss him. Scott McKenzie. If it
Mm,
wasn't for Deacon Fielder, I would have said him. 39 years old, still a point a game in the National League. The start of the year when they weren't as depthy and forward, he chipped in so much. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just think we forget he's 39 and he's
yeah.
still cooking at a point a game.
Yeah. Right. That wraps it up for our players. Anything else to add, Dan? Little message, maybe. Considering it's coming to the new year.
Um, just thank you for the support, I guess. We're not really posted as much as we'd like to, but I guess, like you said at the start, changes have happened with obviously yourself and Charlie. I'm still just the same. I'm just going to be here whenever we're going to record, unless I'm playing NHL, obviously. But yeah, thank you for support, and yeah, hopefully we go into 2026. Hopefully, Bison can secure a playoff spot in their first
Yeah.
year back. And yeah, just keep coming up to us around the rinks. It's always nice talking about hockey. As
Mhm.
you can tell, we love talking about hockey. So yeah, if anyone wants to come up and any of us in the rink, then yeah, feel free.
Yeah. Not if you're battering us though.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, true. Don't come up to us and say that you're winning because we already know.
yeah, we will punch you in the face.
Well,
No, I'm joking. That is a joke.
Charlie will. Charlie's the rough one.
No, I'm not.
Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, we
What, Liam
appreciate it.
Kirk is gross.
What's that, Charlie? Liam Kirk update.
Hat
He's
trick.
unreal.
Hat trick. Oh my days. Right, quick
But
one. How many points would he get in the National League for a season if he played? Let's say he plays
120.
for the Steel Dogs.
120.
he's not Yanni Lackinen, so he'll get about 130.
I'd go
I go.
150.
It depends
Easy.
what he wants, but basically whatever he wants. He could get a minimum of 3 points a game if he
He
wants.
won't score as many as his brother.
Right, we're ending it on
I
that
got a
because that is
message. I got a
absolutely.
message. Dan gets a message. Have a
Go
great
on.
New Year, everybody. Enjoy your hockey teams. And hopefully in 2026, Swindon have some silverware. That'd be lovely. And hopefully Basingstoke make playoffs. And Yanni Lackinen hits 100 assists.
That would be aura. Right. Yeah, we appreciate it. We'll continue to try and get the episodes out this year. I know I say it every week, but we'll try and get some new guests as well on the podcast. Yeah, make sure to follow, subscribe, like all of that, and we'll see you next year.
Ta-da.
Peace.